Hi, this is a new episode in a new series of a vlog that I started about 12 months ago. So, series two is basically a reset, reapproach to my goal. So, this time, about 12 months ago, I wanted to achieve a double bodyweight squat within 12 months. That didn't happen for a number of reasons, and I didn't get anywhere as close as I thought I was going to get. Over the last kind of 4 weeks, I'd basically picked up like an injury, a TFL injury that basically meant I hadn't squatted for 4 weeks. So that last 4 weeks of the 12-month period basically says, let's have a kind of a taking stock of where that year had gone and think about where I want to go next. So actually, I haven't changed my mind about the goal. I haven't changed my mind about the time period. What I probably have changed my mind about is how I've approached it and how I can maybe overcome some of those challenges that I created for myself. And this is the first time I've coached myself. I spent all my kind of coaching career looking at other people and never really taken the time to do the same thing to myself. So I kind of need to think about kind of how I've approached training and how I move. So I think the first thing is that I thought I moved okay. And what's happened was, as I've applied more training and more training stress and more load to that, I've kind of broken down a bit. And I need to address those mechanical issues as to what's broken down and fix them. So TFL became a real issue in the eccentric phase of the squat. Basically, it's highlighted the fact that my glutes don't work or don't work in the way that they should do when I'm squatting. So they're not taking up the work they should be doing, and therefore other structures were taking over that and caused me to get an injury. So that's the first thing I need to do, is get back into kind of a movement prep, which is actually targeted to my needs as opposed to a more general approach. So yeah, this is episode one of a new year of training. So hopefully by April of 2023, I'll be far closer to a double bodyweight squat than I have been in 2021, 2022. But I've got 12 months of training experience. I've had 4 weeks off and I've had a week's holiday last week. So yeah, definitely have a bit of a reset. So I'm not quite as that kind of highly trained status that I'd like to have been, but I'm not the detrained individual that I was 12 months ago. And this vlog is primarily a self-accountability tool. This is me coming on hopefully once a week to say what I've been doing, why I've been doing it, and how holding myself to account, whether that's the rehab, whether that's a diet and nutrition, whether that's kind of mobility and soft tissue work. Again, that's probably something that I didn't do enough of last year. Just coming on and saying this is me, this is what I've been doing, and having that accountability to myself. But along the way, hopefully other people do see this and go, well, I quite like what you've got to say, or I find it useful or interesting, and I might take it to myself or the people I work with. So it's not necessarily here to be a sales pitch. I'm not trying to do anything other than hold myself to account, and by putting in the public domain, other people might go, yep, something on what you're saying there makes sense. So I kind of the goal really for this year is to hit double bodyweight squat. But in that process, what I also need to do is realise that I have to become a lot more athletic, like more mobile, more range of movement, less stiff, less rigid, to allow myself the robustness to be able to tolerate the training that I've got to get through. So currently what I'm doing is going back to basics. So this time last year I was doing 3 sets of 10 Delon Watkins, so 50% 1 at 10 RM, 75% 10 RM, and then 100% at 10 RM. And I'm hoping to get back to that. So I've only just started squatting this week, after having about a month off. And again, lightweight, just testing out what my TFL can tolerate, because it feels a lot better. But it only really got irritated when the heavy weights got put on and when I got a bit of stress on there. So I'm just kind of testing the water at the minute to see what it can and can't cope with, and not really pushing beyond that. But I got DOMs today from the first set of squats I've done for ages. So that's nice to be able to get to a point where I do have DOMs. and not because my TFL said, look, you can't squat anymore. So actually, the rest of your muscles are detraining because this one little pocket of muscle where in my hip is going, no, I'm not allowing you to do any more work. So a couple of little changes that I've made. I'm trying out barefoot squatting, well, in socks, but just to see how that works. I've always been a proponent of training in trainers, obviously in weightlifting shoes. Everything I've done has been in weightlifting shoes. So I listened to a lot of Squat University stuff. Again, don't always believe everything you hear, but I thought, I like some of the things he's been saying there, so I thought I'd give that a go. And just getting that feedback about kind of from foot position and how kind of my feet are moving so much on the ground. Obviously, you want it to be still and stable as possible. And what that's saying to me is my hips aren't basically as stable as they should be. So those kind of those hip stabilizing muscles, the glutes and TFL and all those things that keep the hips in place, aren't doing their job as well as they should do. And that's probably why the TFL kind of flared up under those heavier loads. So doing a lot of work on that, trying to kind of strengthen up the lateral hip stabilizers. And really just being a bit more aware of that kind of feedback that's coming into the body whilst I'm squatting. So kind of feeling kind of, because my feet are literally on the ground, I can feel where weight shifting left and right, forwards and backwards a bit better than I would have done if I'd been in the weightlifting shoes. And it's only been 1 or 2 sessions, but I feel that's helping. I don't think I'm going to be in barefoot squatting forever, but certainly while this kind of, I call it rebuilding Milo phase, it seems to be something that helps. And then try and do a lot of like the touchdown squats or single leg squatting. I'm not really going to be, I'm not deliberately going after chasing a pistol squat, but I think if I could get something like a pistol squat, that would fix some of my bilateral squatting problems. Now, I don't believe that just if you can pistol squat, you can also do a heavy back squat, but I don't think they're exclusive either. I think if you can do a pistol squat, you can have a reasonable amount of leg strength, so that would be helpful. But the goal is to get that hip stability. That means that under a heavier load, my kind of knees aren't kind of flailing backwards and forwards and really solid and stable, and actually can just push into the ground with lots of force, which is the key to a double bodyweight back squat. And then obviously, longer term, I'd like to get back into masters weightlifting. So having that athleticism, the robustness, and the mobility to lift heavy weights explosively, and really push and clean the jerks and snatches would help. So a bit of a ramble, a bit of a kind of mind dump if you like, but again, this is just me putting my ideas out there, and if other people like it, great. Hopefully you come along for the ride with me. But yeah, hopefully this 12-month period will be more successful. Less problems. I'm not having any more kids, so that's definitely going to be a 2-week period, and hopefully I'll have better sleep for most of it. Obviously the last 6 months sleep has been heavily disturbed, so hopefully that'll be another thing. And won't be changing jobs, so another thing. Oh, at least I don't think I am. You never know in this world, do you? So hopefully there's a few less stresses in this next 12 months that allow me to really push through and move a bit closer to that goal.